drops deep and scored 20 goals in 27 games last season for that man's side, Dusan Urin. And Xisco, the Spaniard, can also cause problems. The road to Turin starts here. Tottenham will play 17 games in this competition if they get to the final in May. And they provided such rich entertainment last campaign. I wonder if they can go even further this year with the squad that they've amassed, Clark Carlisle.
Well, I don't know if my expectations of Tottenham Hotspur this year are shared by the many, but I really am excited about what they can achieve. They've strengthened in so many different areas, not even looking to just replace the potential loss of Gareth Bale, but in 4 or 5 different positions. I totally agree with Tony Pulis.
There's Zaria, who's come in at the base of the midfield because Lemon Kamalazzi is suspended after picking up 3 European bookings already. Roberto Soldado winning an early free kick up against Kvaratskhelia.
Well, this is something that we've not seen from the likes of Emmanuel Adebayor over the last season or so, leading the line with strength, getting free kicks in dangerous areas.
Here's Danny Rose, loves to get forward, and it's an early fumble from the goalkeeper Giorgio Loria. Clark and I had been studying DVDs of their performances against Steaua Bucharest and Ivor Stremo, the Faroe Islands team, in the Champions League qualifiers, because of course Dinamo Tbilisi, as champions of Georgia, have dropped out of the qualifiers for Europe's Champions League and into the Europa League. And one of the weaknesses we noticed was the goalkeeper's ability to fumble and drop and be a little bit unconvincing and breed nerves into his defence.
Well, he seemed really reluctant to come for crosses, Sam, in all the games that we watched, and when he did do, he was 0 for 6 in collecting them and relieving the pressure on his back four. Maybe that is something that Andros Townsend can exploit Gylfi Sigurdsson by whipping those crosses in and bringing him into action.
Here's a chance for Etienne Capoue, getting his first start for Tottenham today, to meander forward. Dembele, who's playing a little bit further forward than he has been recently, behind the striker tonight. It's a chance for Dinamo Tbilisi to break. Here's Grigalashvili trying to take on Dembele. Decent tackle by him, and it was cleared away in the end. Big strong Belgian doing well to track after initially losing the ball. And this stadium, not only the home to Dinamo Tbilisi, but the national football side and the rugby team too. Here's Diwali coming forward. Offside flag is up over on the far side from our Dutch officials. But Diwali there, just spotting the opportunity to try and get beyond Michael Dawson. He was about 5 or 6 yards offside.
Well, that's where you have to praise an active defensive line. You always want your back four to squeeze out as quickly as possible, make the forward line work. If any one of those 4 defenders were being lazy and not getting out at pace, there would have been the chance of playing Diwali onside and putting themselves in trouble.
Trying to get clarification from Tottenham exactly as to why Younes Kaboul is captaining the side tonight. Michael Dawson was named as the club captain last season and is in the team this evening. But it was Younes Kaboul who led the team out, and he's wearing the captain's armband this evening. The ball is with Paulinho. And here is Dawson, looking for Danny Rose. Rose, who started out as a winger, reverted to a left-back after an injury to Benoit Asuakoto. Loves to get forward. Headed away by Kusilava. Quite a defensive unit, Dinamo Tbilisi. They leave the attacking work to Xisco and Diwali. Once every now and again you'll see Grigalashvili join in and Mirabashvili from central midfield. But Desario in your picture now will sit and hold and try and break up play. The onus will be on Tottenham to try and open up Dinamo Tbilisi. If they were to get an away goal tonight, it will make next week's game at White Hart Lane all the more easy for Andre Villas-Boas. Mistake by Andros Townsend. Touch letting him down. Holds 55,000, this stadium, after a renovation a couple of years ago. They say they got 100,000 in here back in 1979 when they knocked Liverpool out of the European Cup. It's quite some squeeze. Another offside flag, this time flag up against Xisco.
Again, another excellent defensive line. What I do like about this is Michael Dawson isn't even appealing for the offside. He's carrying on with his job. Oftentimes you see defenders hoping for an offside flag to go up behind them. That wasn't his concern. Carried on with his job and played to the referee's whistle.
Soldado with a header. Paulinho chasing with almost getting a chance for Soldado, who's trying to bundle his way through. Tottenham still trying to get on the ball. Sigurdsson is there. In the end, it was Kvaratskhelia who got the ball away for Dinamo Tbilisi. Carl Norton's just scurrying back to make sure that Xisco doesn't make the most of it. That was a chance for Tottenham. There was, again, a bit of confusion in the Tbilisi ranks.
Soldado causing all sorts of problems early on in this game. You see how his work ethic has fashioned something out of nothing. When the centre-half, Kvaratskhelia, fell on the ball, it looked like it could have possibly been a handball. It'd been interesting to see the replay of that one. But then instantly, Sam, instantly Dynamo Tbilisi are down the other end and causing problems, and it's the pace of Kyle Norton that rescues the situation. So vital that they stay switched off, even in attack.
Paulinho, Norton. Pushed back by Sigurdsson. Here's Capoue. Paulinho. Soldado is to his left, but he goes it alone. Well, he does have a reasonable goal-scoring record, Paulinho. 20 goals in 72 appearances from Corinthians.
And I would expect players of his calibre to be hitting the target from there. It did open up in front of him. Defensive line just backed off and afforded him three or 4 yards. Give him an opportunity like that, he should pull the trigger.
Tottenham have named a really strong side for this game, and when you think that their opening few weeks of the season means they have 4 games in 11 days, I would have been too surprised if they'd shuffled their pack a little bit more this evening. With Dawson, who played at the weekend, Dembele, Paulinho, Rose, Soldado, Sigurdsson, and of course the goalkeeper Hugo Lloris, all keeping their places from the 1-0 victory over Crystal Palace, which opened up their Premier League campaign. Kaboul is back to full fitness for Andre Villas-Boas, who said to me after the game against Crystal Palace that he was slightly light in defence and they might still do a bit of business in that sort of area. Lisic almost giving the ball away. A lot more business in a lot more areas, hasn't he, Andre Villas-Boas? Big spenders in the Premier League this summer.
Now, Tony Pulis was saying before the game that Tottenham could potentially field 2 different sides that could compete on all fronts. But I'd have to agree that centre-half is probably the only position where they're lacking. I genuinely feel that you need 4 first-choice centre-halves to compete for the top 4 places in the Premier League and on the European front.
There's a good bit of skill by Capoue to put Tottenham on the front foot. Townsend exchanging passes with the Belgian Dembele. Now Paulinho to Sigurdsson. Soldado just occupying the central defenders. Norton. Tottenham patient in the build-up here, dominating possession, bossing the game. Paulinho. Good tempo to Tottenham's football, good rhythm, they look comfortable on the ball. And when you think think there's so many new signings that have had to be integrated. That's not always easy. Danny Rose must feel like a new signing too for some of the players because of his season on loan at Sunderland. Here's Andros Townsend. And then there was an attempt to try and spring Carl Norton down this right side, but it was just in between Soldado and Norton from Paulinho.
I think that's probably going to be a reflection of the majority of this game. Tbilisi are a very defensive-minded side. Just sit there, 2 banks of 4 in, wait for the opposition to open them up. And for that to happen, Tottenham are going to have to bring their extra men into play, which will be their fullbacks. We saw both Danny Rose and Kyle Norton getting involved in the attacking play there, exploiting the space left by Townsend and Sigurdsson coming in off the line, and that's going to need to be a repetitive feature if they're going to break down this Tbilisi side.
Kvaratskhelia looking for Cisco. Punched away easily by Kabul, and then Capoue finding Sigurdsson, who's just struggling slightly. Here's Grigalashvili. He's got Diwali in the centre, still Grigalashvili. And Kabul had to get in the way of it. He concedes the first corner of the game.
It shows you the quality when you get to this level of European competition. Sigurdsson gives the ball away in a seemingly okay area of the pitch, but then he has to be very, very careful with the way that he tries to tackle Grigalashvili when he gets into the box. One false move, it's a penalty.
Here is the corner, headed into the air by Sigurdsson. Spurs defend that well. They did struggle in the pre-season friendly that you and I saw with zonal marking against Espanyol. They're not struggling at the moment. Here's Townsend taking on the Dinamo Tbilisi back line all on his own and finding the perfect finish. Andros Townsend gives Tottenham the lead in sensational style. A first start of the season for the man who spent last season on loan at QPR. And in the shadow of wingers already at the club. But he's made a name for himself tonight.
We're talking in the game against Monaco, Sam, about how Andros Townsend has vastly improved his end product. You see the counter-attack. Gylfi Sigurdsson makes up for his earlier mistake by heading clear the corner. And Townsend is waiting, you can see him, he's looking for support. This can often be a problem when you're such a quick player. You break away and no one can catch you up. Well, they don't need to when you've got finishing ability like that. What a fantastic strike and a wonderful start for Tottenham.
Dinamo Tbilisi blasted on the counter-attack by Spurs. A breakaway goal, a corner at one end, a goal at the other, and Tottenham in front after just 12 minutes. And it's the kind of start that Andre Villas-Boas would have been delighted with. Excellent finish. Whether or not the goalkeeper might think he could have done better with that from that sort of range, but it was arrowed towards the corner, wasn't it?
I don't think you can lay any blame at the goalkeeper's door for that one. Fizzed it in from 22, 23 yards at pace, low to the keeper's left. It was just a fantastic finish.
He was surrounded by navy shirts. Didn't frighten him. Took on the challenge and reaped the rewards. Hasn't scored too many goals. Andros Townsend scored an absolute cracker for QPR last campaign in the Premier League. I'm sure he'll be thinking to himself with the influx of all the new names that have already arrived here at Tottenham, but also the ones that are rumoured to be coming in, close to joining the playing squad. Names like Willian and Eric Lamela, which have been mooted as possible additions over the last couple of days. You might sort of start to worry about his role in the squad. Well, that's a mistake by Capoue on the edge of the area. Diwali trying to take full advantage, but being told that he was a little bit too physical.
Well, we saw this once or twice with Paulinho a couple of weeks back as well, getting caught in possession in that defensive third of the pitch. You know, it's not a time for taking chances, although Capoue was blatantly fouled there.
Don't want to be playing around with it in that area, do you? Just in case. Here's Norton. Capoue finding Kabul, and then back to Capoue. Paulinho wants it. He controls it. Norton. To the goal scorer, Townsend. Townsend again. Very good dribble over the ball. Andros Townsend. Here's Sigurdsson trying to play a little reverse into Roberto Soldado. Just didn't come off that time around. Had a good start to his Tottenham career. 12 goals in his last 11 appearances for both Spurs and Valencia. Scored in the pre-season friendly against Espanyol from the penalty spot after a sensational first 20 minutes where he was all over the place, running into good positions, having several opportunities to open his Spurs account, and then stepped up to take the penalty on Sunday in the Premier League. Here's Townsend again. Soldado, Townsend, Sigurdsson waiting. Danny Rose coming up on the overlap now. Still 3 in the box for Spurs. Can Rose find one of them? It's being tracked by Kusilava and Zaria as well. They still have the ball. Here's Paulinho. Trying to just thread the ball through to Danny Rose. A little bit too intricate in the end from the Brazilian.
Well, you saw both the positives and the negatives of overlapping fullback play there, Sam. Gylfi Sigurdsson comes in off the line, he draws his opposition fullback in, and that space is exploited by Danny Rose. But when Danny Rose then gets on the ball and his space is exploited, he turns back and he's got no support himself. So he needs to try and thread the ball back inside into where the pitch is congested.
It's a very forward-thinking Tottenham Hotspur. 5 on 4 here. Here's Townsend. Trying to get the cross into the centre. Best of deliveries. Well, that's a mistake. Here's Soldado. Good save down by his near post by Giorgio Loria. Well, the right-back Kirkvelia and Georgi Gaveshlani both getting themselves in a tangle and almost giving Tottenham Hotspur a real gift inside the box. Tottenham really putting their foot on the accelerator in the early stages here. Paulinho. Dembele. And for goal himself, takes 1 or 2 deflections, scurries across. There's an opportunity to get the ball out to Danny Rose again on that left-hand side. So Andre Villas-Boas has said to his side that they go ahead, attack at will. They're not afraid to commit numbers forward.
Well, they're not, and they need to ensure that when they do that, defensively they're switched on. And that means that one of your sitting midfielders or your opposite fullback is covering to make a 3v2 on that defensive line on the halfway line. But if you're going and creating chances like this at will, it's very, very encouraging.
I must admit they didn't create too many opportunities in the Premier League game on Sunday. I was expecting a lot more. I think some of that is down to the fact that Crystal Palace played so well. Caboul's misjudged a header. Cisco wasn't close enough to it, and Hugo Lloris, the French international captain, rather calmly bowls the ball out. When you look at Tottenham's squad, there will be 1 or 2 envious glances from other Premier League clubs. The business that they've done, at the rate at which they've done it, has been impressive. If they do end up catching the like of Lamela and Willian, then this is going to be a very exciting season to be a Tottenham Hotspur supporter. I don't think it felt like that at the beginning of the transfer window. Everybody was concerned about losing Bale. And of course, it's still not a player that they want to lose, but the squad is completely different now as a result of his, I suppose, now eventual departure.
Well, it is looking increasingly likely as we see the whole saga unfold, but the big question was, who are you going to replace Gareth Bale with? you know, a like-for-like replacement who can do what Gareth Bale has done for Tottenham over the past year. What they've done has been greater than that. They've strengthened in 3 or 4 other different areas, and that means that the likes of Andros Townsend, Aaron Lennon, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Moussa Dembele, they're not comfortable in their positions, and that's what you need. You need competition for places to bring the best out of your squad.
Finding Dembele, and then back to Norton. Dembele's got it again. Now a chance for Townsend once more. Tried to play a reverse ball, didn't come off, but he then tries to get into the D, and he's brought down on the edge of the area by Georgi Kvilashvili, and that's going to be the first yellow card of the game.
And it looked a painful one for Andros Townsend, and it's one of the risks for a winger when you're coming in off that line and you're skipping past tackles. He looked like he might have hyperextended his knee there, straight-legged. Just shows the maturity in his play over this past 6 months to a year. You know, he has the ability to come inside off that line and link up with Soldado like he tried to then, although it didn't come off. The time before, we saw him go down the outside and create all sorts of problems that led to Soldado getting a chance in at the near post.
Well, he's hobbling away. He's just getting some treatment from the Spurs medical staff. Gylfi Sigurdsson, the most likely to take this free kick. The Icelander hasn't actually scored for Spurs since his goal against Chelsea in May. But in Gareth Bale's absence, they need someone to step up to the plate from set pieces. It looks as if he's going to be the man from what we've seen in pre-season. Here he is. Not bad. And not too far away from Gylfi Sigurdsson.
Player reaction often tells you a lot, and you can see him putting his head in his hands. He thought this was close. Just whipped the outside of the netting. Oh, very close to giving Tottenham a comfortable 2-0 lead.
Well, getting the away goal is vital in any away European game. This, of course, much more important than many others, because without victory in this tie, there is no further European competition for Tottenham Hotspur. But if they progress beyond Dinamo Tbilisi, then they will be having the pleasure of at least 6 games in the Europa League this season. Although the fans are divided about whether or not it was wise to employ such a strong team selection philosophy in the group games and in the knockout stages last season, because of eventually Tottenham falling away in the hunt for Champions League football, it did provide rich entertainment at White Hart Lane, and they are much better resourced this time around. Kvilashvili out to Kvilashvili. Kvilashvili trying to get the ball in the box. He's had the only real opportunity that Dinamo Tbilisi have fashioned. Tottenham, in contrast, created a handful. Been a handful so far. That's a high foot from Dembele. Kvilashvili. Varley moving forward. Quick touch out towards the fullback Kusilava. Varley in the centre, Cisco too. Just hesitated slightly. Didn't really have the confidence to take on Danny Rose and Gylfi Sigurdsson. That might be why.
And they didn't have the confidence because they doubled up on him, Sam, and that's good defending. It's good work rate from Gylfi Sigurdsson to get back and help out Danny Rose in those situations, nullify the threat.
Four dark shirts in the centre, ball with a very firm header away. Lisic. Mirovashvili. Good work by him. Kurt-Velia, and then a decent header and a great save. Jabadevali, who scored 20 goals in 27 games last season for Dinamo Tbilisi, came oh so close to making it one apiece. Quick corner. Spurs with defending to do here. And Hugo Lloris has had to earn his corn.
No matter how comfortable you feel in European ties, you're only a split second away from conceding. And that took a fantastic save from Lloris there to keep the score at 1-0.
Ever alert, Hugo Lloris makes an excellent stop from Jabadevali. Here's Glisic, blocked by Norton. Glisic still going forward. Cisco with a chance to get it in the box, blocked by Dawson. Well, for me, that was going to be a corner kick, and I think he feels the same.
And I'm inclined to agree with Cisco there. I think that was outstanding covering defending by Michael Dawson. You see, Kyle Norton gets dragged in off the line, leaves Dawson 1v1. Last-ditch attempt to prevent the cross. And he did, you see, it just deflects off his shin. Tbilisi denied a corner.
The referee from Holland, Paul van Berkel, deemed otherwise. And Tottenham benefit from that. There's a lot of confidence about the way that Tottenham have played so far, but there still is a bit of vulnerability as well. They'll have to be careful. Did struggle on the road last season in this competition. They didn't win an away game. 5 draws, 1 defeat. Ended up going out on penalties on a rain-soaked night in Basel. Here's Grigolasvili. Hoping for a little bit more than he ended up yielding from Danny Rose.
It did look like a nudge from Danny Rose there. You see his arms in the back. Grigolasvili.
System was 5 yards away.
Seen them given.
We've all been watching football over the last 24 hours, and we've seen a lot given that hasn't been. Norton, Capoue, into Paulinho, back to Capoue. Sigurdsson coming off that left touchline. Both Tottenham's wingers, Sigurdsson and Townsend, love to come in and get involved in play. Sometimes can mean that the play's congested in that central strip of the field. Capoue onto Sigurdsson. Rose is patrolling the left side. Dembele. Lovely feet, Dembele. Rose joining up, Soldado in the middle, Paulinho waiting too. Paulinho chasing it. Not the best delivery from Danny Rose.
As a natural winger, you'd expect him to produce more from that situation. But here we see Dvali's header, and it's a great instinct save from Lloris. In the build-up to that play, Danny Rose was over-covering Yunus Kabul. Grigolasvili was free at the back post, had the cross been stood up, but they still put Tottenham's goal in peril.
Well, it was an excellent little back heel from Georgi Mirovashvili to send the ball down that left-hand side for Kurt-Velia. His cross actually wasn't the best, but Dvali made the best of it, didn't he, by diving towards it and glancing it behind him. And the move happened so quickly, it was quite a surprise, really, that Hugo Lloris was as well versed as he was.
And that is a crunching tackle from Kurtzlava. He had no chance of getting the ball. Well, Gylfi Sigurdsson has caused him all sorts of problems in this opening half hour. That may be the only way that he can remedy that.
That was later than an Arsenal shopping spree.
Well, just like you were alluding to earlier, Sam, the way that Sigurdsson comes in off the line and Townsend comes in off the line, I was really looking forward to seeing Moussa Dembele in that hole. You know, he's been relieved of his defensive duties. I thought he might get on the ball and link up with Soldado a bit more. But when the ball does come into that area, there's 4 Tottenham players all in that central strip of the pitch, and they're relying on the fullbacks to provide the width and therefore the extra men.
Dawson just turning the ball back to his goalkeeper. Xisco, furthest forward of the Dinamo Tbilisi players. Tottenham's next game is at home on Sunday afternoon. They take on Swansea City, who you can see in action after the conclusion of this match. Here's Dembele. Ball into Sigurdsson. Soldado. Sigurdsson. Space on the left-hand side for Danny Rose. Just couldn't work it out to him. Good defending in the end from Gavratskaya. Gavashlani, who did really well to stop Sigurdsson in his tracks.
It was very good defending, but you only need that to come off once. You see the intricate passing, it has to be inch perfect when the back 4 close in and close ranks like that. But just one time that needs to come off, and Danny Rose will be getting an effort at goal.
Ball with the header forward. Burst of speed from Kursilava. And to Grigalashvili. Rose mopping up for Tottenham Hotspur. Took the lead after a goal from Andros Townsend. 13 minutes, a corner at one end. Spurs broke forward very quickly. And Andros Townsend took the matter into his own hands when he found 4 navy shirts around him. And he also found the back of the net. And that's a key goal for Tottenham in their hopes of getting through to the Europa League group stages. As many expected them to do. Let's not dress it up and make out that Dinamo Tbilisi are a giant of world football. Yes, they looked Liverpool out of the European Cup when Liverpool were the all-conquering side, but that was 1979. The breakup of the Soviet Union, the isolation from Moscow, the conflicts between the two nations means that resources have been put elsewhere. Football isn't exactly the most important industry on the government's agenda. Here's Capoue. Still Capoue. It's kept going. Sigurdsson joining up now. Maybe just tried one illusion too many. Also just watching Xisco and making sure that he doesn't make any elementary errors.
An excellent run from Capoue just before there. It's gliding past players, almost accidentally. Getting onto the ball and looking for an option to offload, but it was never forthcoming.
Martin Capoue is signed from Toulouse, and he sort of, I suppose, fills the vacancy that's been left behind by Scott Parker. And no disrespect to Scott in any stretch of the imagination, because he was an excellent servant for Tottenham in the short spell that he was there, but Capoue is a little bit younger and more athletic. Here's Paulinho across to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson looking to shoot towards goal. It's blocked by Kurtzilava. Tottenham, who've always, well, in the last few seasons anyway, played with 2 holding midfield players, 2 almost orthodox sitters. They've got 2 now that have got a little bit more about them as well. Paulinho's got a good eye for goal. Capoue looks as if he's happy to get towards the edge of the penalty area and strike on goal too.
But more importantly, Sam, they've got that defensive awareness. They sense danger. We saw twice in as many minutes there Paulinho just nicking the ball off this Tbilisi midfield and instigating a counter-attack. And when you've got the pace and the power that they've got up front in Townsend and Soldado, that's priceless.
Here's Paulinho. Space on the far side for Sigurdsson. Soldado in the centre. Still Sigurdsson trying to cut back inside. And eventually his attempt was blocked. Duvali has had the best chance for Dinamo Tbilisi. Again, Lloris reading the danger, intercepting before it becomes a real problem. Townsend just eludes Dembele. Salava under a little bit of pressure here. Capu. Another expensive acquisition this summer of spending by Tottenham, Paulinho. The first player to break the transfer record this summer. Townsend, Dembele, Morton, Capu. Townsend finding Danny Rose. Soldado has gone moving into the central area. It's flashed across goal, and well, the goalkeeper almost caused himself a bit of grief there. It's Tottenham's first corner of the game.
Again, you see Tottenham attacking in full flow, but yet again, the 6 main attacking players are all within the width of the D. Then he takes Danny Rose to stride down the outside and provide the ammunition.
Sigurdsson's corner. Dawson with a header. He was always stretching for it. He was a bit behind him. There's an aerial threat, Michael Dawson. Lots more football to come on ITV over the course of the next week or so. Arsenal did well last night, didn't they? You can see them finish the job on ITV from 7:30 on Tuesday. And then next Thursday night, the second leg of this encounter, Tottenham and Dinamo Tbilisi, live on ITV for 7:30 start. Football doesn't end there, because on Friday night, Pep Guardiola takes on Jose Mourinho. Bit tasty that. ITV 7:30. That's next Friday, the 30th of August.
Almost as tasty as Moussa Dembele's challenge there. I'm not surprised he's picked up a yellow card. His 4th foul in this half, and referees don't stand for that anymore.
It's the 3rd yellow card of the evening, the first Tottenham player to go in the book. There's an opportunity for Dinamo Tbilisi. Grigashvili getting the ball onto his left foot and trying to strike towards goal.
Quite a wayward effort here by Grigashvili. Hugo Lloris hasn't really had his goal tested apart from that Dvali header. Even so, Tottenham will still need to stay focused. So we've seen the work rate at Dvali and Xisco cause problems before now. There's no reason why they won't do it again.
Well, the supporters are trying to enjoy themselves tonight. Already dropped out of the Champions League. They've got this chance at European football. A proud club. They were a big side back in the 60s and 70s. They won the Soviet League. They were the cup winners in 1981. That beat West Ham United on the way. They were one of the era's super teams. They had Boris Bachadze, Shota Imiadze. They had half the Soviet national team at one side. But it took that man, Dusan Urin, to bring back success to this club after 5 years of not winning the Georgian Championship, bearing in mind they'd won 13 since independence before that. He brought them the league and cup double last season. Silverware and trophies is something that Andre Villas-Boas wants to bring to Tottenham Hotspur. And that's the man that's put them in front. Ball's in play because of the injury to Xisco. Andre Villas-Boas taking the opportunity just to give a few words of advice to his forward players. He spoke to Dembele, he spoke to Andros Townsend. So he's got a bit of a hamstring problem, Xisco. See if he can continue.
Well, if he can't carry on, we might see the introduction of Patrick Vieira, who will cause a completely different problem for this Tottenham back line. Far greater aerial prowess, a bit more pace in behind.
Here's Kabul. Good for him to get 90 minutes under his belt after a season where he hardly featured at all. Does look as if they're going to make a change. Vahu is warming up. Ivorian striker. Kabul. Kapu. There's by Townsend. It's wayward. Now they can make the change. So Xisco only lasted 41 minutes, and the man who played at Académica, in fact he was on the books at the Portuguese club Académica Coimbra, and Andre Villas-Boas was in charge. And he goes on up front alongside Diwali. 6'2", 26 years of age. He's had a career which has taken him around most of southern Portugal.
So Dembele's got to be very careful here. Those niggly fouls could easily add up to a second yellow card. Might come into Andre Villas-Boas' thinking at half-time or towards 60 minutes when he starts to rotate his substitutions.
Well, it would be remiss of Dembele to get himself into that sort of position at this stage of the competition. It would be remiss of Andre Villas-Boas to keep him on if they didn't need him to secure victory here tonight. This would represent a successful first half for Tottenham Hotspur. Goal after 13 minutes from Andros Townsend, separating the side that finished 5th in the Barclays Premier League from the side that won the Georgian League and Cup double. Here's Paulinho. Just a little bit too far in front of Townsend, and now a chance for Dinamo Tbilisi to break. Norton doing really well to recover and win the ball back. He was a little bit further up the pitch, had to retreat very quickly, and now he's sent Townsend away. Taking on the fullback, Kirk Vellier. Blisic too, diving in. Townsend, and it's a great header and an easy goal. Super cross from Townsend. Paulinho putting it beyond the goalkeeper, the helpless Loria, and it's 2-0 Spurs.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant wing play. This starts back in Tottenham's half, with Kyle Norton dispossessing the Tbilisi forward with a show of strength. Lays it off to Townsend, and if we go back that far, watch Townsend. He gives it, and then he just turns and heads down the touchline on his bike. Kyle Norton finds him again. He twists the fullback inside out. Kirk Vellier doesn't know where to do. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. And then he just puts it on a plate for Paulinho. What an outstanding goal.
Andros Townsend has been involved in both of the opening goals here in the first half. It's the perfect start to Tottenham's European adventure, and Paulinho has his first competitive goal for Tottenham Hotspur. Excellent work from Norton and Townsend in the build-up to that. Paulinho arriving in the box at just the right time. I'm sure that the coach of Dinamo Tbilisi will look back and think his defenders could have done more to prevent it. It was an excellent delivery by Townsend, which was inviting for Paulinho, and he took full advantage of it. Diwali looking to send Vahu away. just didn't connect with it properly. If he had it done, he might have got an opportunity.
Tottenham looking incredibly comfortable. If there are any young wingers looking how to affect your fullback, you're often taught, come short to go long, and that's exactly what Andros Townsend did there. Came short, bounced it back off to his fullback, and then turned and opened up his leg. Had a full 40 yards to run into.
He's not afraid to run with the ball at his feet, is the Andros Townsend. Here he is again, winning a free kick in a dangerous area. Coqueville with a desperate challenge. He's getting the run around a little bit, isn't he?
He is indeed. He's found a man in form. And just like we were talking about the maturity of his end product, didn't hit the first man with his cross, chopped out, found the run of Paulinho.
Sigurdsson to deliver. Clutch of players wrestling by the penalty spot. Run at the back post was from Paulinho, but the ball couldn't reach the Brazilian. Danny Rose trying one from distance. Well, he's had joy from that sort of position before, although it was 2.5 years ago that he scored on his debut in the North London derby. And the way things stand at the moment,